Hello everybody. So I've been getting a lot of requests after my login with Discord PHP button to list the user's guilds and to also invite the user to a specific guild. And I think you'll be surprised with how simple it is to follow up with the code that we already made in the last video, add a little bit of changes to our code, and we can get them to join, and also we can list out the guilds that they are in, including the one that we just joined. Now, this will be a little bit different. We're going to be in all of the same pages. However, we're going to have to make a bot. We're going to have to change up our scopes URL, and we'll also have to make some new functions that they behave a little bit differently than previously. All right, so if you haven't already, you can start here with the login with Discord button, or you can just pull that entire repo, update your code, because that's exactly where we're going to start off on this video. So if you look here, I have my init OAuth, my process OAuth, and my process OAuth, I already put in all of my codes, right? So you know, when you pull the repository, there's going to be you know, a few codes that you might need to change, but the basic premise is, let's see, so this is our YT Discord login. Oh, we have to update our redirect link. Okay, so before I can show you this whole thing working, we have to update our redirect link. Now, in the previous video, we just said, okay, let's get a redirect link from our developer Discord page, login with Discord. I'm gonna go to OAuth, URL generator, and I just need identity. But now, since we wanna get the user's guilds, and we want to join them to a guild, let's do guilds and guilds join, create a new redirect like that, copy it, go back to our code, our init page, and change our URL. This is why I like to have a different page for the URL, because if we need to swap something out, easy to swap it out real quick. All right, so let's see how that runs now. We'll go here, we'll go back here. All right, log in with Discord. All right, now we get redirected, and look at what it wants. Username, avatar, banner, what servers you're in, and join servers for you. All right, so that's exactly what we want to do in our application. We log in and we see, okay, great, it works. But obviously we still need to add the guilds. So let's log out. Let's head back to the Cinder guide and see what do we do next. All right, so we created our URL. We changed our init OAuth page. All right, now we got to create a bot. And so if we go back in here, let's go back to our bot, and I want to build a bot. Now, if I hit add bot, it's going to say, oh, well, it didn't have a problem with the Discord. It just took it off. Earlier, I had a problem with it. It said no Discord in the name, and that's true. So we'll just call the bot login disc2. We'll save that. And let's see, we're going to need this access token, but let's hold off for that. Let's invite this bot to our server. So I have a server here that I'm an owner of, cinder.org. I'm going to kick out that user that we're going to be inviting here in a second. We already have one bot invited, but I'm going to invite another one. And so all we have to do is say, okay, let's make a new URL. We want bot permissions. And so now what permissions do we want to give the bot? We want to give them manage roles, create instant invite, nicknames, manage nicknames. So why did I check these boxes? You know, I have these boxes checked here. Well, if you head on over to the, there's a bot documentation, so guilds.join, it's going to say that you can actually change a lot of things in the guilds.join attribute. So you can give the user a nickname. You can automatically give them roles as long as you pass these things. Now, we're only going to do access token just for the sake of simplicity and time, but if you want to give them a nickname, these are the roles you'd also want to check to have those permissions. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it into my URL. Me as the administrator, I say, okay, I'm going to invite a bot to cinder.org. That is the Discord that I have. We're going to get it finished and set up pretty soon. So I'm going to give him manage roles, create invites, manage nicknames, change nicknames. Perfect. Authorize. Well, I'm not a bot. And we see that login disk2 has been added. Perfect. So now that our bot's in, we're going to head back to the Cinder guide, see what's next. All right, So we're going to add some functions to our VS Code, to the process file. Okay, so we don't even have to change our process file that much. We just have to add some functions. The first function is that add user to guild. So if you don't want to add the user, just don't include the function. We're going to add user to guild by their Discord ID, by their token, by their guild. All right, so the token we would have gotten from the OAuth request. The guild we would have gotten from your server, your guild, and I'll show you how to get that as well. The payload, we're just making a payload because this has to be encoded as a JSON object. We're going to set up a new URL that will hit. So it's a little bit different in terms of, we need JSON, we need this put, we need a different URL, and also notice here authorization. It's not authorization bearer, it's authorization bot. Okay, so we'll need the bot token here as well. So we'll paste that guy in there. All right, and then we just do a basic curl request. Forget user guilds. I literally copy and pasted what we had, except for I added /guilds, and we're going to call this and use this in a minute. So let's copy and paste these functions to our process OAuth file, way down to the bottom here. And then we can actually stick them in so that we get them used. So the first piece is we're going to get a guild ID. All right, so I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go into cinder.org. And if I right-click cinder.org, I can, let's see, I right-click the image. We need to get the guild ID. Oh, I'm not in developer mode anymore. So we go into our settings. We go into advanced, and we turn on developer mode. We hit escape, right-click, copy ID. So now I have a guild ID. All right, so I'm going to go back to my process OAuth function, and I'm going to paste this guild ID where I'm going to use it. So let's see, where are we going to use it? Well, I think that after I authenticate the user, right in here, I am going to also add the user to a guild. All right, so I'm going to do guild ID is equal to that string that I just copied. Perfect. All right, so then I can just paste the function in that we added earlier with the user data, so that's their ID, the auth token. Where did we get that auth token? Okay, so here I named it access token. So when I was developing on my own, I named it auth token, and then we have a guild ID as well. Perfect. So that's where I added it here in my code. And then also let's get the user's guilds and stick it into their session. So it's going to do the same thing, except for we have to pass the access token, not the auth token. All right. Scrolling down, the last thing we need to do is actually just parse the guilds. So we'll head back to our dashboard page, and in our heading, we're going to get the session user data guilds, create a guild markup, and then we're going to stick the guild markup here in the div. All right, so somewhere maybe in here, we'll copy and paste the markup. All right, so all this does is creates a loop that prints out a list of the guilds. All right, so let's test if everything works, and if not, we'll do some debugging, and hopefully we'll be done. All right, I'm gonna test this in an incognito browser with a different account. So I'll paste that in. I'll log in with Discord. All right, so I got my Minecraft Steve account. Authorize. All right, and look, it says that we are in the Oswald dev server. So we got the listing correct. Obviously our markup's a little bit messed up, but we got the listing correct, but we did not add the user to the guild. And I actually remember why this probably doesn't work. If I go back to my application, I did not paste in the bot token. So let's head back to our main master file. So let's see, that should probably be this guy right here. We'll go into our bot. Let's go general information, bot. We got to reset this token because we need to get it for login disk 2, 575-280. I have my authenticator open. So let's see. We'll paste in our bot token there. So now we have a bot token. We have the put command. We have that add user to guild, Discord ID, token, guild ID. And we're passing. We know that access token works. We got their Discord ID. We got their guild ID. We know that one works. So let's just run this guy again. Let's log out. login, Minecraft Steve. All right, and so because I was coding on 2 different files, and in my new system, I don't call it user data ID here. I guess I could have done it down here, but I called it result. Okay, so it's just result. So the result ID. So that's why when I was creating my string, I was not able to pull a actual valid endpoint of 404 not found, because let's go back. That wasn't a valid Discord ID. It was a null Discord ID. And so we see here that we haven't been redirected because I exited the script, but let's remove that exit. We see that Miner Steve was added to cinder.org. I'll kick him out again so we can watch that in slow motion replay. I refresh this, log in, authorize, and boom, we have Minecraft Steve in cinder.org. All right, that's all you got to do. Add those functions, create your bot, and you're done.